Hello, this is John with Jesus' message for Friday, March 8th, 2019. Today he is drawing to our attention the absolute necessity for forgiveness, not because it frees others, but because it is the only way to free ourselves. Forgiveness calms the storms of painful emotions within. The oneness that is God, that is all that is, includes every sentient being ever created or that ever will be created. There is no separation, ever. But, living in form as humans, the reality of this escapes you. You have forgotten the truth, and because of the severely limiting beliefs that being human imposes upon you, you need divine guidance to find your way home. And that guidance, the Holy Spirit, is always with you, waiting patiently for you to take the time to listen. Living as humans in form, your egos are extremely vociferous, making it very difficult for you. You are not your egos, although your egos don't want you to know that, to hear the still small voice for God. Sometimes you do hear but refuse to believe it, thinking that you know better. You have all at times gone against your intuition, your inner knowing, and when things have not turned out as you had hoped they would, you have regretted not listening to your intuition. Your intuition will never lead you astray. Nevertheless, that does not mean that your path will always be smooth, because before you incarnated you set yourselves up with a path that would present you with the lessons that you needed to learn and that you had therefore chosen to learn. Most of you have had many human lives and have not yet learned all the lessons that were appropriate for your circumstances. Now, as your awakening approaches, these lessons must be learned to enable you to move forward. Within every human, these lessons are now arising in myriad ways, causing chaos, confusion, and conflict in many places and in many relationships. The way to deal with them is to listen. Your divine guidance is always with you, and its message is consistent. It is always the same. Love one another. Deep in your hearts you know this to be true, and yet you disregard it when you choose to be offended by another's unloving judgment of you, or by their unloving words directed at you, and instead of responding with love, you choose to respond, or more honestly, react, in a similarly unloving fashion. Many people are forever attacking others or defending themselves against others, and even though it is normally done only silently in their minds, what people do in their minds establishes their beliefs, the beliefs they live by and which direct their lives. I cannot trust anyone. I'm always being attacked. No one appreciates me. No one understands me. No one loves me. For as long as you wait for another to be loving first, so long will you keep on waiting to be loved instead of being attacked. Love and change starts with you. After all, as you have been so often told, there is no one else. Over the last 5 or 6 decades, many people have woken up to this and have changed their attitudes and their behaviors. As a result, awareness has grown, on a scale never before seen in humanity, of the need to move from fear to love in all relationships, from personal ones to international political ones, and all in between. It is this enormous change in the collective awareness that is leading you so powerfully forwards towards your inevitable awakening, and without delay. Your awakening requires that all your ignored or denied issues, anything within you that is not in alignment with love, arise into your awareness so that they may be released. This means that you must forgive all who have caused you pain or suffering of any kind. Most of you are aware, or are becoming aware, that quite often what you experience as an attack is nothing of the sort, that you have in fact just misperceived a situation or a communication. However, in the moment you either react defensively or attack the other, leading to escalation and conflict, which was not only unnecessary, but was also painful and very damaging for the relationship. Before forgiving, however, demanding judgment and restitution for perceived wrongs seems just righteous, essential, and the only way for people to live together peacefully in any kind of community or society. Rules are required and must be obeyed, or else. This is the way humans have conducted their lives for eons. It is not forgiveness just to let go of bygones because the offending person has been judged and suitably punished, leaving you feeling and believing that justice has been served, while at the same time you continue to hold on to a sense of vindication because of the outcome. Now more and more people are beginning to see through the unworkability of this belief and are changing their attitudes and behaviors to reflect this awareness. Forgiveness occurs when you choose to forgive another by completely and utterly, without any conditions whatsoever, letting go of any hurt that you have experienced and been nursing, sometimes for many years. When you do that, you find peace within yourselves. Within that feeling of peace, another amazing thing also happens. You find that you can forgive yourselves for all the wrongs that you have committed which have hurt others, and which you have, until this moment, either denied because you are so ashamed of them, or justified because you believe that they were perfectly responsible responses to another's attack on you. Forgiveness calms the potential energy that can build storms of painful emotions within, which have often been lovingly held on to for long periods of time, sometimes decades, that erupt powerfully from time to time and totally and utterly dissolves them. Until you truly forgive, you will find this impossible to believe. And when you do forgive, your whole experience of life changes dramatically for the better, because all those jealously harbored resentments and feelings of bitterness over how others have treated you in the past are no longer constantly replaying in your memories and bringing those events vividly back to life in the present moment, thus denying you any sense of peace or joy. The process of forgiveness, and it is a process, demands recognition and acceptance of your humanness and of your divinity. Your divinity is, of course, perfect, but your human side is in the process of evolving spiritually, and forgiveness is a large part of that. There are very few among you who do not bear grudges and resentments against others for perceived mistreatment, valid or invalid, that continues daily to disturb your ability to feel at peace for any length of time. When memories of mistreatment arise, causing strong emotions of fear, pain, anger, and resentment to invade your minds, your sense of pleasure in just being alive gets blocked out or hidden from you. When true forgiveness occurs within you, you will know it, because those storms of painful emotions will no longer be present, and you will find yourselves mainly in a state of peace and contentment. Therefore, in your daily periods of contemplation, meditation, or plain relaxation as you just smell the roses, set the intent to let go of the judgments that encourage your sense of righteousness and which forbid you to forgive because you believe that justice must be done and seen to be done. It is these long-held attitudes which have brought so much pain and suffering to humanity over the eons. After all, most of you have no trouble forgiving small children for their errors and mistakes. Therefore, intend to realize that although you inhabit adult-sized bodies, and have probably done so for decades, there is still within you a small child who acts out from time to time. Now is the time to intensely renew your love for that small and often frightened child, who undoubtedly had many experiences of painful and abusive behaviors while growing towards adulthood, and welcome it into your arms with a warm, loving embrace, while totally forgiving it for every misbehavior or misdeed that it has ever committed. This will not be accomplished in an instant, because injury, mental, emotional, or physical, encountered during childhood leaves deep scars that require time and loving kindness in order to heal. Give yourselves that time to heal. Don't try to rush it. Rushing, seeking instant gratification is endemic in many parts of the world today. Your inner child needs time, your time. So provide it willingly and lovingly, and listen to it with great patience and empathy. Explain that you totally and utterly support it, and that you will be there when it is in fear, and that you will help it to grow up, as it most certainly wants to. Don't you remember? You did. Being there with wise guidance when it feels threatened or needy. Love is the offering that your inner child needs and deserves from you, and only you can provide it. It's very likely that when you were small, those who were caring for you, or were supposed to be caring for you, did not give you the time you needed. Therefore it is a need you do fully understand. Honor it in your inner child. Your loving brother Jesus, who always honors your inner child.